Welcome back everyone, it's Microsoft's turn as we take a look at the top 10 games to grace the Series X in 2021, which is also its first full year of gaming. It seems like the console is off to about as good of a start as you could expect, and I think the games on this list reflect that, covering a wide variety of genres in the process. Also, just like the Switch top 10 list of 2021, we will be giving away a physical copy of my Game of the Year. This giveaway is not sponsored by YouTube or anyone else, just me, and you can read the official rules in the description. Remember to leave a comment of your favorite Xbox Game of the Year so you can be considered for the prize. And with that being said, let's check out my top 10 games of 2021 for the Xbox Series X. Every now and then it feels great to just play through an action-packed story-based single-player linear experience. A lot of modern games require so much time and effort to learn their mechanics that a game that you can just kind of pick up and play through its adventure with no crazy distractions or a huge learning curve is a nice touch. I'm not that big of a Marvel or superhero fan at all, but even so, Guardians of the Galaxy provides a wonderful game that looks especially fantastic on the console. When it comes to life simulation games, Stardew Valley has launched a ton of interest in the genre. One to emerge from this crowd recently was Moonglow Bay, a life fishing simulation game with a ton of charm. You play as a widowed former angler who uses fishing to help rebuild the town. If you're looking for a more laid-back experience, one that also features co-op, then look no farther than Moonglow Bay, a game that I hope to have a full review of on this channel soon. For many of you that follow this channel, you might be surprised to see an annual AAA sports game on my top lists of anything, but you'd be wrong. So many modern sports games are weighed down by a lack of innovation and ignoring what their fan bases want, but not so with the show. Specifically why I liked this version was the addition of Create a Stadium, a feature that I was calling for many years, and I lost dozens of hours to this, which could have been a game in and of itself, and I can't wait to see how it evolves in the future. The Hitman series is something I never really played prior to this year. I just think the sandbox nature of this game is awesome, and seeing the engine at work is a technical marvel that also happens to be a blast to play for fans of exploration and stealth games. I never thought a Hitman game would make a top 10 list for me, but I clearly was completely wrong about the franchise and super happy I finally decided to give it a go. Spoiler alert, the first dodgeball game on this list happens to be a repeated game from my Switch top 10 list. However, the best version is here on Xbox, as the game performs that much better. I've said it before, but it's next to impossible to make a new online concept that features completely original mechanics, and Knockout City did exactly that, and it also happens to be a ton of fun to play. Another game to make both my Switch and Xbox list comes Death's Door. As I mentioned before, Death's Door has already got a ton of attention this year, but in case you haven't played it, it's an indie puzzle action-adventure game that feels like a fantastic combination of Zelda and several other popular games. Be on the lookout for a full review of this game in the coming weeks. Probably the biggest surprise for me this year was the release of Dodgeball Academia, a game I really only heard of because it was free on Game Pass at the time of its release. The game is a dodgeball-based, light RPG experience that ends up being a weird combination of games like Pokemon, Windjammers, and a number of others. It honestly might be the most unique game, period, on this list, and worth a look for anyone who appreciates original ideas. So Halo Infinite is the first Halo game I've played since Halo Reach, which dates back to my college days. I have to say I really missed how much fun it can be. I'm aware of all the hatred towards the game's reward system, which is flawed completely and seems a bit rushed, but I really don't care too much about that stuff. It just feels so good to play both the campaign and online with friends. And even never owning an Xbox personally until recently, I feel like Halo Infinite fills that Halo void and easily my favorite FPS of the year. I think Psychonauts 2 is the best single-player 3D action or platforming game of the year and probably the best since Super Mario Odyssey. The way the game transports you through this crazy universe full of life and insanely creative environments was some of the highlights of gaming for me for the entire year. I liked the game so much that I just had to go back and play the original before completing it, which in turn was also one of my favorite gaming experiences of the entire year. I had such a tough time deciding between It Takes Two and Psychonauts 2, but I ultimately gave the edge to It Takes Two for the sole reason I was able to play the entirety of the game in co-op, and that experience lifted the game just enough into the #1 slot on this list. If you haven't checked this game out, it's essentially a modern take on the 3D platforming that Mario made famous, but with co-op, and with more of a Toy Story vibe. Pick it up today, and it was probably my favorite game period across all platforms considering everything when it was all said and done. And with that said, remember to leave a comment and I will be selecting a winner randomly at the end of February for a physical copy of It Takes Two. Again, the full rules are in the description, and thanks for watching this special year-end edition of Obscurest Gaming. Cheers.